Okay, so I'm gonna talk a little bit today about how awesome our bodies were made, like as women. So when you were like 6 months old, like not born yet, like 6 months after you were conceived, like 6 months in your mom's belly, you developed as many eggs as you would have in your entire lifetime. Like you're never gonna get any more. But you're also never gonna run out. So that's the good news. I'm not trying to scare you. But it also helps us to know this, to take care of our bodies and take care of our fertility, right? Okay, so fast forward like 10 to 16 years, you start your first period. It takes about 7 years. It could take up to 7 years, I should say, for that period that we experience on a monthly basis to become cyclic or regular. But once that happens, for the most part, every single month, a follicle or a cyst-like structure will grab one of those undeveloped eggs and begin to develop it. That follicle produces a really super special, awesome hormone called estrogen. Estrogen is responsible for producing that like slimy, kind of sometimes annoying stuff we see in our underwear every month. Yes, I said that because it's important for you to know that that slimy stuff is cervical mucus, most likely. That stuff that like might be annoying sometimes, and sometimes we might even think it means there's something wrong with us. It's actually really good. It's a really good indication that your body is functioning exactly the way that it's supposed to. There's also a lot of good quality information in that mucus. So if we start to pay attention to that mucus, we're gonna learn about what's happening on the inside of our bodies, whether it's abnormal or normal. I know, that just blows your mind. But anyway, so that follicle begins to mature with the egg in it. Well, at some point it ruptures, right? It releases that egg, and that is ovulation. After ovulation, the estrogen level drops, and another super special, awesome hormone picks up called progesterone. Progesterone is gonna stop that mucus. It's also going to create this super rich, awesome, healthy lining on the inside of the uterus. It also is responsible for secreting this fluid that's really healthy and nutritious. Just in case, if a baby was conceived, it can become implanted there on the inner lining of the uterus. If that doesn't happen, if there's no baby, the progesterone level drops, and then that lining begins to shed, and that's where we get our periods. Now, our periods can annoy us sometimes, some of us more than others, but on a general basis, that period, although it annoys us, is a really good indication that our bodies are working exactly the way that they're supposed to. So in a way, we can kind of learn to appreciate our periods and pick up all the information it too is giving us. So if we're able to observe our body in its pure state without the effects of certain medicines can have on it, we can begin to observe this cervical mucus, and we can be taught how to pull the information that it's trying to give us and track it. And there's also some other things that we can begin to see. We can do this through something like the Creighton model fertility care system. So we have someone who teaches us how to observe the mucus and different patterns of bleeding or different things that are happening. We put it on the chart. That helps us to understand our bodies better, and also it helps our practitioner to be able to see what's going on, and our practitioner will be able to identify if there's something that's not working right. Like if we don't know what to look for, then we won't necessarily know if something's not working normally. And we want to know right away if something isn't working right. Because if those hormones, progesterone or estrogen, if they're out of whack by just a little bit, we're probably going to notice it in some symptom that's happening in our bodies, but we don't always know that that's directly related to our fertility. It can be. So just some things to process and think about. I want you to know that your fertility is directly connected with your overall health. And then that is going to help you going forward with lots of things that you deal with throughout your entire reproductive life. So keep this in mind and follow me for lots more good, juicy information now that I am training to become a practitioner. I feel like I have a lot more valuable information, that everything I can just kind of put it together a little bit better to share with you. So follow me here on Facebook, I'm on YouTube and Instagram, Taking Back the Terms. You can also find a practitioner or a doctor near you by going to www.fertilitycare.org.